Back to Operation CARE's response to domestic violence.
And welcome back to the outreach presentation for Operation CARE. I'm here with Captain Middleton from Medjugorje Sheriff's Department, and we have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, good.
This is one time that I get to ask the questions.
That's correct.
From a sheriff. When do you call for advocate assistance, and how often do you call?
We offer Operation CARE advocates to every victim of domestic violence. We leave the calling up to them. If they ask us to call, we certainly will do that. If they don't have access to a phone or something like that, we will call for them, but we offer every victim the opportunity to have Operation CARE help them. In 2013, there was 79 cases of domestic violence in Amador County. So far this year, in 2014, there's been 51.
So, but that's, is that more or less than other counties, the small counties like us? I mean, what are the statistics?
It's probably average for a county of our size and our geography, because geography does have something to do with it.
Okay, then if a victim forgets details about an assault, do you adjust interviews, questions, or use techniques to help the victim remember? Could you provide an example?
Sure. A lot of times, initially, just calming a victim down helps us get the questions answered. Mitigating the situation, calming them down, and asking the question, maybe asking the same question in a different way. They are all given a case number and a card, and they have the ability to call if they have forgotten to report something or they remember a detail after the fact, and they can call us and we can add that to the report.
Wow, that's intense for them, trying to remember some of those things. And one of the other questions is, when you are called out to domestic violence situation, is an arrest always made? Why or why not?
The rules for domestic violence are that I shall take action. That does not mean that I shall effect an arrest. An arrest will be made in the case of domestic violence if probable cause exists for that arrest. If the probable cause does not exist, then obviously an arrest would not be made.
Wow, this is a lot of information that I never heard in my life. So I hope that people are learning something from all of these questions from somebody that's in, right in the middle of it, and you see it all the time. So I'm so glad that you're here to answer all these questions. Another question for you is, can you explain what an EPO is and how it's determined if one is needed?
An EPO is an emergency protective order. Deputies on scene can request an emergency protective order if the victim is in danger of further violence. How that works is the deputies will gather the facts and they will make a phone call to the on-call judicial officer, a Superior Court judge. We'll explain those circumstances of why we think the victim is in danger and in need of an emergency protective order, and request that the judge grant the order. Some of the things that can be covered on the emergency protective order are temporary custody of children, move-out restrictions, stay-away restrictions. The important thing to know about an emergency protective order is the order expires on the 5th judicial day after it was granted. So sometime during those 5 days, the victim needs to go to the Superior Court and have that emergency protective order petitioned into a restraining order.
Wow, there's a lot to remember.
I'm surprised I was able to.
That's a lot to remember. Also, how do you handle victims that is apprehensive about following through with charges following through with testifying?
The district attorney's office would handle whether or not the victim testifies. The way that we handle their embarrassment or feelings for not wanting to testify is we just try to question them or ask them questions in a way that makes them feel comfortable, and we do not need for them to press charges or make a private person's arrest on domestic violence.
So not everybody really, when they call, they change their mind sometimes, you think?
I'm sure that they do, yes.
And then it just makes it harder to... And do you drop the case there, right there, when they don't want to testify after they call? Or does the DA have the right to go ahead and still do the due process?
The sheriff's office does basically goes and responds and documents the facts that what happened. We are not involved in whether or not the victim testifies or whether or not the case is charged. That happens after the sheriff's office is done with their response.
So does that go to the DA office?
It goes to the district attorney's office for prosecution, correct.
So that's great information. From law enforcement perspective, how prevalent is domestic violence in our community? How about teen dating violence?
I think that domestic violence statistically in Amador County is maybe a little bit below normal as far as reporting of domestic violence. The youngest victim of domestic violence was 21 years old that was reported to the sheriff's office last year. Teen dating violence, the numbers are low for the average.
Well, that's wonderful to hear in Amador County, because I raised a lot of children, but I had a rule. You follow that rule or I'm going to be the police that's going to get you, not the police. So I think it all starts at home when you teach your children, how to behave and how to treat other people, not just your wife or your girlfriend or your friends. It's like you teach them at home, to be respectful and to, don't do the domestic violence. And if they, I don't know if when they see it at home, if they just pick it up and that's how they learn to be that way. What do you see?
I think that domestic violence is something that they can learn as children by viewing the situation. It's been proven that women who are victims of domestic violence were possibly their mothers were victims of domestic violence as well, and that's a way that they have learned how to display affection.
I have seen that in my lifetime with families where they are used to. They think that that's normal, to be treated this way, and they don't see anything wrong with it. And how do you teach people this? I guess through the Operation Care, probably there's probably an advocate that can help people like this. I should talk to Tammy and find out more about this, because I do know somebody that should get them help. But sometimes it's hard for a regular person to just go say, you need some help. It's like
I understand that, and that would be a situation where Operation Care could be helpful. The sheriff's office, as a general rule, mediates and investigates crimes.
That's good.
But there are times where people are having arguments where they call the sheriff's office that a crime has not been committed, and the sheriff's office will attempt to mediate the situation for the night and calm things down so that we don't have a domestic violence situation that night. That's
wonderful to hear. Not that when you call the sheriff's department or the police department, it's not always going to turn out to be a bad thing. I always tell everybody, the police is not there to hurt you. The police is there to protect you and to help you, through whatever the problem is. But a lot of people are scared to call because they think they're going to get in trouble, or they, I don't know. So how do I convince somebody that you are there to help them?
Well, you can try having them call Operation Care if they need help with domestic violence, if they're nervous about calling the sheriff's office. Otherwise, we are there to help them. We are there to mediate if that's needed and offer assistance. There's any number of times where we are called to a residence where we answer questions regarding protective orders, either emergency or restraining orders, and provide information without actually having to effect an arrest.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm really happy that you were able to come and be here today, and we really appreciate your time, and I'm sure that we can come with you next time we need you.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation.
So it's been a great show. I hope everybody gets to watch this show, and we will probably we'll put it on YouTube, we'll put it on Facebook, share with your friends, because sharing is a good thing, the information that people need to know, information that a lot of people don't know, that Operation Care is here to help you, or we all want to help each other. This month we have the Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so all you have to do is call, Operation Care, and you will find somebody that can help you. And we'll be back with a next segment.